Good morning, Soberinos, and welcome to this week's Friday Fix. Today I'm talking about why motivation is so important and why we need to keep our motivation levels topped up really high to give ourselves a high chance of success when we first stop drinking and we're first learning how to live our life sober. And I want to share with you, let me just find it by moving to the next slide. I want to share with you a little diagram that I call the successful change model. So when we're making any kind of change in lifestyle, whether we're changing a routine, whether we're learning a new skill, whether we're taking up a new hobby, or whether we're changing an old unhealthy habit into something newer and more healthy, whatever kind of change we're making in our lives, in order for that change to be successful and us to successfully stick with it until we've done it and we're now running our new behavior change and we're running our new lifestyle in exactly the way that we want to, and we're doing it on automatic and we're doing it easily and we're doing it without even thinking about it. In order for that successful change to happen, there are several things that need to be in place. And I just want to quickly run through some of these things with you so that you get a better understanding of how important it is to keep your motivation levels topped up. So let's take a look at practice, learning and repetition. Oh, that's not worked. Let me try it that way. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know if you can see me at the side here or if that's worse. It's probably best if I hide myself here. So in order to successfully change something about your lifestyle, you need to do a lot of practice. You need to put in a lot of repetition and you need to do a lot of learning. You might make mistakes along the way. You might face challenges along the way. You might slip up and go back to old habits and old behaviors. And so you need to be able to keep practicing, keep repeating, and keep learning along the way until the new behavior becomes so automatic you're not even thinking about it. A good example of that, let me come back to you. A good example of that is I have just decided after 2 months of doing no exercise, no working out, no running, because I'd broken my toe. And it was really frustrating. It was a very frustrating 2 months. I'd got to a really good level of fitness. I was really proud of my progress. I was really proud that I was able to achieve what I was achieving fitness-wise. I was very toned. I had very little body fat. Mostly it was muscle. And over the last 2 months, I haven't been able to do anything because of my broken toe. So that's been a bit frustrating. But yesterday, for the first time, I did my first workout and it was tough. It was really tough because I wasn't anywhere near the fitness level I had been 2 months ago. And there is a sport, I don't know if you've heard of it, there's a sport called canicross, which is where people attach their dogs to themselves with a kind of bungee line around their hips. And the dogs go off running in a pack and the humans just run after them. And so you go for a run, but the dog is pulling you along so that each stride you take, you're kind of flying basically because the dog's pulling you along. Well, I signed up ages ago to a local canicross group and I never heard back from them. And I got a message from them yesterday saying that they're open for new members. And if I want to go for a taster run, I can do. And I've got, I think it's the end of the month. I think it's the end of September. So today is the 2nd of September and they want me to go along to a taster run with the dog at the end of September. Now, my running has never been good. I'm not a strong runner at all. In fact, I don't enjoy running. I dislike running. I find it really, really hard work. I can be at my peak fitness in other ways, and I still find running really difficult. It's just not something I naturally do very well. But I had got myself to the point where I could run 3 or 4K at a slow jog, which for me was an achievement. But now they're saying that in order to go to this canicross event, I need to be able to run 5K comfortably. I know, So the red face today means that I have been out and I've done my first run since I broke my toe. But the reason that I'm sharing all of this with you, and there is a point to it, the reason that I'm sharing that with you is to demonstrate that over the next month, I need to really practice. I need to repeat and I need to practice and I need to learn what works and what doesn't work, when's the best time of day to go for a run, the speeds I can run, the pace I can run, how to build up my progress day to day, week to week, so that I can comfortably run 5K by the end of the month, so that I can go along to this taster session. So in order for me to successfully change my inactive, non-running lifestyle into a proactive running, regular running lifestyle and regular canicross running lifestyle, I need to do some work. And that's one of the points that I want to make today, is that in order to make a successful change, you need to do the work. You need to put energy into it. So for that practice and repetition to take place, in order for me to be able to get up every morning, go for a run, even when it's raining, even when it's cold, even when my toe is twinging, even when I'm worried about my toe healing, even when I'm feeling sluggish, even when I'm tired and I haven't had enough sleep, even if I've had a busy day and I've got too much to cram into my day and there's not enough time to do everything, with all of those challenges, I still need to keep going. I still need to keep practicing, because if I don't, I won't be able to do the 5K at the end of the month. So whether it's learning to build running into your routine, whether it's learning to run 5K, whether it's learning to live your life sober, whether it's learning to play a musical instrument, whatever the new hobby, the new behavior, the new habit is you want to develop, it's going to take practice, it's going to take repetition in the face of adversity. The more you repeat something, the more you practice it, the more automatic it becomes. And the more automatic it becomes, the less you have to think about it. And the less you have to think about it, the easier it becomes to do it. You don't even think about doing it anymore. It's just something that you do no matter what's going on in your life, and it becomes easy to stick to. So successful change takes practice, repetition, and learning. It takes work. And in order to be able to keep doing that practice, to keep repeating, to keep learning in the face of adversity, you need to be really focused. You need to have the energy to do it. And you need to have a really strong sense of purpose as to why you are doing this. What is it it's going to get you? What are you going to achieve by developing this new habit, this new behavior, this new way of living your life? So you have to be really focused in order to be able to keep the energy up, to do the practice, to do the repetition, and to do the work. You've got to be really purposeful. So this morning, for instance, I woke up at 6 o'clock. Let me come back again. I woke up about 6 o'clock and I started, I'll be completely honest with you here, I started scrolling through Facebook, I started looking at messages, I started looking at my notifications, I got a bit sidetracked by stuff I want to read about, and I thought to myself, hold on, no, I need to practice, I need to get up. It's a really grey day out there. I didn't want to get dressed, I didn't want to go outside, I didn't want to go for my run, but I made myself do it. I was focused enough to know that if I didn't practice this morning, I wouldn't do it again tomorrow. And I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you saw in one of my previous videos, I said we become more of what we do every day. So if I want to set a pattern of building running into my day, I need to run every day. Because if I run today, I'm more likely to run tomorrow because it's becoming a pattern. If I run today and tomorrow, I'm much more likely to run the following day because it's becoming an even more established pattern. And the more something becomes an automatic pattern, the easier it is to carry it forward. So I had the focus this morning, I had the sense of purpose, because at the end of the month, I've got this kind of, what's the best way of describing it? I've got this kind of end goal. The end goal is that I go for this taster canicross run with Ali in the local canicross group. That is my end goal. And so I've got that. That's giving me my motivation. That's giving me my sense of purpose. Now, without motivation underpinning all of those things, it's going to be really difficult to do it. In order to keep that focus, to keep that energy in place, to have that sense of purpose, in order to be able to do the practice and repetition, you need to be motivated enough to do it. Now, it's very easy in the beginning to feel motivated, to feel enthusiastic. You know, when you initially make that decision to stop drinking or to start running or to stop eating sugar, to cut the sugar out, or to stop eating meat, or to get fit, whatever the decision is, or to develop a new hobby, to learn a musical instrument, to learn to dance, whatever it might be, or to go back to writing again after years of not writing, or to go back to drawing or art, whatever your thing might be. I don't know if you've experienced this, but sometimes you can start with really high levels of motivation, with really high levels of enthusiasm for the thing that you want to do, the change that you want to make. And those high levels of motivation and enthusiasm get you set up, they get you started. So today was my first day of running, so it's relatively easy for me to be motivated. It's relatively easy for me to feel enthusiastic because it's kind of new, it's kind of fresh. The reality of it hasn't bitten yet. I haven't really had to face a major challenge with the running yet. This was novelty factor. And it's kind of the same when you stop drinking, for some people anyway. It's kind of like you feel that first flush of energy, enthusiasm, high levels of motivation when you get started. And it's like, yeah, this is going to be the start of my new life. This is going to be the start of me living life the way I want to and reaching all of my goals and being the best version of myself and creating the future that I want. And then when the challenges creep in and it gets a bit hard work, or you're triggered, or you have a hard day, or you're feeling exhausted, or you have an argument with somebody that really presses your buttons, or you go through a trauma, or you go through something that's really distressing, or you feel anxious, or you feel depressed. When we're challenged with some of those factors, it can be easy for our motivation levels to drop. And without our motivation up high, we're not going to have the focus. We're not going to have the energy. We're not going to have that sense of purpose in place, underpinning the drive to practice, the drive to repeat, the drive to be committed. So motivation is the key that underpins everything else that needs to be in place in order for us to make these successful changes to our lifestyle, whether it's stopping drinking or whether it's anything else. So for me, I'm keeping my motivation topped up by really imagining what it's going to be like when I go to that Canicross event at the end of the month. I'm really using my imagination to think about what it's going to feel like when I get out the van, when I link Ali up to his harness, when I attach the harness to myself. I'm really immersing myself into that future experience, the dogs barking, new people that I haven't met before chatting to me introducing myself, me having to keep an eye on the dog and making sure that he's okay. I'm imagining the smells of the forest, because this is going to take place in a forest location. I'm imagining the fresh air. I'm imagining the leaves crunching underfoot. I'm imagining a muddy track. I'm imagining the taste of fresh air in my mouth and in my lungs. I'm imagining being out of breath. I'm imagining the sweat. I'm imagining being pulled along by Ali. I'm imagining Ali being super excited and wagging his tail and being really energetic at the start, and then I'm imagining him being exhausted at the end and not really pulling me along at all by the end because he's not used to running 5K. So I'm really immersing myself into this future experience of the end goal, because by doing that, I'm keeping my motivation levels up high. And I also know that if I don't practice every day, I'm not going to be able to do it. And I want to be able to do it because I want to give Ali that experience. I want to test it out. I want to have a go. It might not be for us, but it might be. And in order to give it a go, I've got to do this. So keeping the end goal in mind is a really good way of keeping your motivation level topped up. So how can you keep your motivation levels topped up? Whether it's your motivation for staying sober, whether it's your motivation for something else, what can you do to keep your motivation levels up high? In the guidance program on the Go Get Sober website, I think it's module 1 mostly, there are lots and lots of steps, tools, techniques, and learning for you all about motivation, all about how you keep your motivation levels topped up high to retain and sustain that sense of purpose, that drive, that energy, that focus that you need to keep on practicing, to keep on repeating, to set those new patterns in place so they become automatic. There is lots and lots of wonderful tools, tips, and techniques in the guidance program in module 1 about how to keep your motivation levels topped up high. So if you're not already a member, if you haven't already been to the website, I do recommend you go www.gogetsober.com. It's free at the moment because I made membership free during lockdown because so many people were struggling with living their lives sober when they'd lost all their face-to-face supports. So at the time of recording this video, it's actually free to join. So I really recommend you get along there now. You join, you sign up for a membership, you get access to the guidance program, and you can learn lots of wonderful new ways to keep your motivation levels topped up. So that's it from me for today, folks. I will look forward to seeing you there. I'll look forward to catching up with you in tomorrow's Saturday Share in the Facebook group. But in the meantime, let's go get sober together. Bye for now.